How's it, boys? How we all doing? So this is a reaction to the UFC Fight Night Imavov vs Borralho card for UFC Paris, and let's just jump straight into it. Overall, I thought it was a really good card. I was really entertaining. Unfortunately, I only watched the first two fights live. The rest I woke up in the morning and watched. This is definitely not my time zone that these were fought on. But overall, it was a fantastic card. I really enjoyed it. We did pretty crap. I think only 5 and 7, which is not good. There was a few of my picks that I just blatantly got wrong. But you know, what can you do? I got the main event right, which I think is that's all anyone really cares about. Anywho, let's get straight into it. First off, Shauna Bannon versus Sam Hughes. Guys, I am so sorry. I should have done more research into Sam Hughes and Shauna Bannon. I didn't really think about it. And now we just lose. I mean, Shauna Bannon, she looked like she couldn't harm a human being if she wanted to, and Sam Hughes just took her down and submitted her. Looked way stronger. Yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. Moving on. Andreas Gustafsson versus Renat Fanaridun. I can't. So it ends in a V. Renat V. Renat won, and I was actually quite upset about this one. This was the one that I stayed up live because I was actually quite excited and looking forward to this one. Yeah, Renat beat Andreas Gustafsson, but going to the circling out. That's all he did. That was the only impressive thing that Renat did there. It was he circled to the right or the left, and then when Andreas came crashing in, suddenly Renat wasn't in front of him anymore, and Renat was able to counter him and knock him down. I thought Andreas would be tougher. Maybe Renat hits different, but yeah, it was a really bad showing. I think quite embarrassing for Andreas Gustafsson, but what can you do? Good for Renat. I should have. In your head, you're like, well, he hasn't lost in 23 fights, but I think Andreas can beat him because he's got the grappling and everything. I'm like, oh. Apparently his striking's awful. I don't know why, but who was his name? He was a lightweight. He was an old guy. Mason, no. He used to be he went against Jared Gordon and Drew Dober, like an Olympic wrestler. But kind of remind me of that. His name escapes me, but I'm sure some of you guys in the comments will know. Anyway, disappointing fight, but excited because I thought Andreas Gustafsson was going to be a really fun fighter we could have around, but I'm not so sure anymore. But good for Renat. Just give him a ranked guy. You know what I mean? Anyhow, moving on. Brad Tavares versus Robert Bresky. I think we all kind of got this one wrong. I think we all thought Brad Tavares was going to win. But Robert Bresky came out there, and I really liked this, but he came out and he's like, I'm not losing again by being too passive. And he just threw. He threw heavy and he threw hard. I mean, Brad Tavares is not known for his knockout power, so I think he kind of knew that he could get away with this, and he just chinned Brad. And I think this is the second time in recent history, third time he's been chinned. I know Gregory Rodriguez did it. I'm sure Bruno Silva did it. It's probably someone else. Maybe. Anyway, I don't know if Brad Tavares has got it anymore, unfortunately. He's a cool guy, and I think he's a good fighter, but yeah, good for Robert Bresky. He just came in there, pressured. He was following Brad a bit too much. I would have liked to see him try to cut off Brad a little bit earlier, but it worked out for him. Fun fighter. Hopefully he keeps the momentum going. Good for him. I'm glad he came out there with conviction and made sure he got the win, because sometimes these guys, after their loss, they're too passive. But I'm glad he had the balls to turn it around. Anywho, really good fight. Sad for Brad Tavares. You guys, you kind of have to root for him, but good for Robert Bresky. Kind of put him. Who should you put him? I like to see him against a Michelle Olachechek. Someone who's not necessarily take him down, but just let's just have a fun fight out of it. I think. You know what I mean? Anywho, up the card, Sam Patterson versus Trey Walkers. Finally, I get a pick right. I thought Sam Patterson, yeah. Watching the fight, Trey Walker's, he's 6'5", he's got his hands low. That probably works better against other guys. Not that I like that style anyway, and I'll talk more about that style in the co-main event. I don't like the style where you got your hands down. Just leaves you open for shots, right? And I'm sure that works better it works okay against like guys who are shorter than you. But Sam Patterson looked pretty much the same height as Trey Walker's, even like a 2-inch disadvantage. And Sam Patterson actually had a longer reach. And the whole time I was watching, I saw Trey Walker slip into the wrong side of Patterson's jab. I'm like, just throw the cross. Just throw the cross. Just throw the cross. And then Sam Patterson committed and threw the cross and just cracked him. I'm like, yeah, that's it. And then he just kept landing. And then Trey Walker couldn't get his hands up to defend because he's not used to defending with his hands up because he always has his hands low. And Patterson just kept cracking him. I thought this fight was called at a really good time. Trey Walker's was only going to get flatline KO. There's no recovering from that. So good for Sam Patterson, man. He's Neil Magny call out. I mean, he's going to kill Neil Magny, I think. But who knows, man. We keep saying Neil Magny isn't going to... Neil Magny finds a way to win. So I think that's a decent fight. Should be good. I think Magny might take it. You could get a really cool win over, a young up-and-coming prospect. Anyway, good fight. Good for Sam Patterson. Sucks for Trey Walker. Next up the fight, Harry Hardwick versus Carlos Fernandez. I didn't predict this one because I predicted it when it was Farasi Zam versus Carlos Fernandez. But let's get straight into it. Harry Hardwick looked 2 weight classes smaller than Carlos Fernandez. I don't know how this was allowed to go ahead, to be honest. Fernandez just beat the crap out of his legs. The whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, shame, stop talking, just leg kick TKO him. You don't need to give him brain damage. Do you know what I mean? Harry had, unfortunately, nothing for him. He did take this on 5 days' notice. So, I'm not too upset about it. I don't think this is a good representation of Harry Hardwick. But yeah, Harry had nothing. Had nothing for Carlos. And yeah, just landed the leg kicks and he eventually couldn't go up. I saw he had to come out in a wheelchair afterwards. So like, shame, man. I hope he's okay. I hope he doesn't get too demoralized by this. Tough guy though for just still coming forward after eating those leg kicks. So hopefully he bounces back in an actual weight class he belongs in. Like he looked skinny fat at lightweight, and these guys and Carlos just looked huge compared to him. So good for Carlos. Don't really know who you're matching up with yet. It wasn't really... I reckon you just book for Zam versus him again. Just do that some other time. Anyway, moving on. Co-main event of the prelims. Marcin Tybura versus Ante Delija. Guys, I'm sorry. I should have... When he walked out there and he looked so big and mean, I'm like, I don't know if Tybura is going to be able to deal with this. And then when they started off and he started throwing those heavy punches, and they weren't landing in that first exchange, but I'm like, man, he's just so much faster and explosive. And then the blob got him against the cage. I'm like, and then he defended those takedowns and defended well. I'm like, okay, I think Ante is going to win here. Then Ante came in because Marcin Tybura blocks weirdly. He like uses his right elbow to block his face, but that leaves him open to... So he uses his left elbow, but he kind of like drops his right hand a little bit, and it just left a nice little open, and Ante came up with a nice... It kind of looked like a shovel uppercut, but he threw it nicely and just clipped Tybura and stunned him and dropped him. I'm glad Ante won because we're going to have some really good... It's nice to have a lot of fun matchups for him. Like, you could put him against, like, Curtis Blades, you know what I mean? Something... Do fun with this guy. Like, let's build him, make him a proper contender. I don't know. I think he's a cool guy, like, to watch. Like, let's make the most out of him. Marcin Tybura, go take out another fat prospect. I'm sure he'll win. Anywho, moving on. Umar Sy versus Brenson Ribeiro. I predicted Umar Sy. I was quite happy about this one. I don't like Brenson Ribeiro, to be honest. I think he has all the natural talent, and I know he's good, but he just has such bad decision making in the grappling. Why would you wrap the head when he was defending that first takedown? like that, because that just let Omasai pass so easily to the safe side of the guillotine. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, my God, just don't wrap the head and just focus on pushing the head down or up, or whatever it is you need to do to get the head away. I would have personally pushed the head down. Don't wrap it. That's like such a rookie mistake. And then he did some other stuff. I'm like, why not just, like, I don't know, man. He's such bad grappling, like, choices. Like when he went for the Kimura and he had that sweep, I would have let it go and just consolidated top position. Like, I know you're not supposed to, you don't have to always let go of Kimuras, but let it go and take top. Like, just being in top mount is awesome. But he kept it, and then Omasai managed to reverse it, and then they scrambled and then they both got to their feet. But you could have just taken top mount and then just rained down punches from the top mount. I don't know, I just didn't like it. Omasai just came out there, took him down. Like, I think it was a really good game plan from him. Like, why risk striking with Branson? Because he's obviously quite much better in that department, I think. Just take him down and beat the crap out of him on the floor. So yeah, I think, it was TKO in the second round. I mean, the end of the first round. Just ground and pound. Good for Omasai. Glad he built himself back up. Put him against another top. Honestly, him versus Modestas Bukowski would be a good fight. I think I'd like to see that one. And they both pretty much took no damage in their fight. So just book that in a few bit. That would be a really good addition to any pay-per-view, honestly. Moving on. Main card. Let's start with William Gomez versus Robert Wuchella. I went William Gomez. Quite happy about this pick. I think William Gomez is quite good. I want to say how good his kicks are. That teep kick he was throwing was landing really nasty, taking a lot of the sting out of Robert Wuchella. He was also quite defensively responsible, which I like. One thing I want to really praise from him was when he did get taken down in that first round, he got up as soon as possible. And I really like that. He knows he's a striker. He knows he just has to get back up. He doesn't like being on the bottom, and he just got up and then started striking again. And I really like that. Robert, he just looked a bit outclassed. Like, he was too slow. He didn't have the good combinations, the footwork that William Gomez had, and he just outmatched him, man. He kept shooting takedowns, which I think is good, because, obviously William Gomez has been even on the striking, but they weren't very, it just wasn't getting them, and unfortunately, he lost. I don't really even know what he could do better. I think William Gomez is just that good of a striker. William Gomez also looked massive, can I just say. Like, he had a really strong upper body and like more of a leaner lower body, but that's fine with the kicks. Robert looked like the other way. He looked like he had a massive lower body compared to his upper body. And I just don't think that's a good build in MMA. Because having those, the strong upper body just could be really hard to deal with those guys. Yeah, so good for William Gomez. I think he did well. Who do you put him next? Put him against another unranked featherweight. You could do him versus, I don't know. Find an unranked featherweight who's kind of high up on the rankings. Give it to him. Moving on. Axel Sola versus Reese McKee. I really wanted to believe in Reese McKee, man, but I should know better. I mean, Axel Sola just beat him up, man. There's no other way to put it. Reese McKee just can't throw. I don't know how he has knockouts on the regional scene, because he doesn't look like he's throwing anything that would knock you out. It's kind of interesting. He just kept getting caught on the way through. He looked bloodied. He looked beat up. What was the KO? It was a oh my god, I can't remember. I think he just landed enough good shots that it just put Reese down. I don't know. This is really bad. I should really rewatch these things. It's been only half an hour though since I've watched this. Yeah, Axel just looked way better than Reese. He kept catching him as Reese was coming in, and he just landed bigger shots. And one thing about Reese that I think is kind of, when I look at this fight, that's kind of a flaw of his, is he's got not very good head movement. This means he's always eating these shots. He's eating shots to give shots, but he doesn't give back nearly as powerful of shots. It just leaves him at a disadvantage. So I don't know. I'm gonna give it good for Axel Solar, but yeah, I don't know if Reese is. He's fought really good opponents, but now he's starting to lose to opponents that I don't think are like. It's not Hazmat level. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know who you. I don't know what you do for Reese McKee. Good for Axel Solar. Moving on. Balaji Oki versus Mason Jones. So I was really excited at the beginning of this round because Oki landed just a big right hand and knocked down Mason Jones and looked like and just kept landing, but Mason Jones just didn't care and kept coming forward. And then he landed his own left hook, I think, and just knocked Oki down. I'm like, well, there's that. And Oki looked tired after that first exchange though, and just Mason was just too tough. And he had really good takedowns too, and he had really good, pretty decent boxing. Like Mason Jones is pretty good. It changed my mind on this. I should have known 16-2 going into the fight that he's way more experienced than Oki. But I wasn't impressed with his Jeremy Stevens fight, making it so close, because I thought Oki would have finished Stevens. And also I pointed out that Oki only had lost to Chris Duncan before this, but yeah. Mason Jones is too tough. I guess that's kind of a trend, is these guys are just too tough to be finished, so what are you guys supposed to do? Yeah, good for Mason Jones. Moving on. Modestas Makauskas versus Paul Craig. So this is the end of Paul Craig. I don't see how he comes back from this. I mean, this was pretty brutal. At the beginning of the fight, Modestas was very close to landing a big right hand over the top of Paul Craig's guard when he leaves his left hand down low. He did land one of them, and which cracked him, made Paul Craig wake up. But yeah, and then they got to the clinch. I'm like, okay, this is kind of where Paul Craig would prefer to be. And then he pulls guard in big 20-25, and then just gets beat up on the floor and knocked out. And as the round ends, and you're like, I don't think Paul Craig's going to get back up. So Mark Gonard calls it. I mean, what are we doing pulling guard in 2025, man? It doesn't work. It's just, you just put yourself in danger. And you saw there, Modestas wasn't even dragged down in guard like Craig was hoping. And he just stood up and beat the crap out of him. And knocked him out. It was really, yeah, like, what are you supposed to do? I feel bad for Paul Craig. He's a cool guy, but I think his fighting career is over. You know, he has a really good few wins on his career, and he should take those with pride and be happy with that. But he's just getting really hurt now, man. I want him to remember his phone number in a few years. You know what I mean? So, good for Modestas, though. He looked big, good striking, clean. Stays technical. I didn't like that he kept crashing into Paul Craig. Like, obviously that's where Paul Craig's gonna thrive, but that's fine. Like I said, put him against Omosai or some other top lightweight. Like, you could even put him against the Dustin Jacoby, would be quite a cool matchup too. I don't know, but Modestas is on kind of a tear at the moment. I think you should cut Paul Craig just to keep him safe at this point. Moving on. Co-main event, Bernard Saint-Denis versus Mauricio Ruffi. I think I said this in my prediction video. I think Bernard Saint-Denis could win, but I was going to pick Ruffi. And I picked Ruffi because Dustin Poirier could find Bernard Saint-Denis' chin and knock him out. And I want to point out, Ruffi was finding Saint-Denis' chin in the second round, but apparently Saint-Denis is an awesome grappler. And he just takes him down. And I knew he was a good grappler, but man, he made Ruffi look so amateur, honestly. And you would think Ruffi would be kind of better at defending takedowns because he's got his hands low. So like, he kind of gives him like an automatic underhooks, but no, apparently not. And what I liked was Bernard wasn't trying to use traditional takedowns like singles or doubles. He just got a body lock and then just flipped him around and took him down. So I think maybe Ruffi wasn't expecting that. But it worked really well. He usually landed in at least half guard, which just made things so much easier. Ruffi came close to knocking him out, Like, I think if he ran that fight back, Rufi could knock him out. But Saint-Denis, man, he was just better. So, good for him. I was quite impressed with that. I didn't see that coming. I didn't think Rufi was going to be champion. I thought he would get forechecked by someone like Moicano or something. I didn't expect Saint-Denis to do it. But man, that was a career-defining win, honestly, because that saved him. Because he had that unfortunate fight with Poirier, terrible fight with Moicano, and then he had that kind of crappy Prepelec fight. But no, and this saved his career. This proved he's still a top contender. Like, he's still one of them top dogs in the division. So good for Saint-Denis. Who do you put him against next? Honestly, I'd like to see him put him against Gamrot, man. Like, wouldn't that be kind of fun? Like a Gamrot fight? I don't know. Or like you could do him versus the loser of Charles Oliveira Fiziev. I don't know. Or you could do him against an up-and-comer. I just think you got to make Saint-Denis count. Like, he's a fun fighter. Let's do something fun with him. Anyway, fantastic fight. Rufi needs to work on his takedown defense. I don't know how else to put that. Very tough of him, though, to stick it out in that rear naked choke for as long as he did. Like, that's hard. So good for him. Moving forward. Main event. Nassourdine Imavov vs. Caio Borralho. Thank God I got this right, man. I don't know what kind of fucking MMA fan I would be if I got this wrong. Yeah, Imavov was just a better striker, and Caio couldn't take him down. Pretty much summed up the fight. Caio kept trying to land his straight left down the middle, but it wasn't really working for him. And Imavov, what I think gave him the edge here was Caio. He would counter Caio's like kind of blitz in with like two rips left and right, and then like a shot up the top, and it just looks really good on the judges card. It adds up significant strikes. Yeah, and he just stuffed all the takedowns. He almost got foot sweeped, and there was nothing that Caio could do. And Imavov just kept the pressure, and unlike Robert on the earlier card, he actually kept he was cutting off Caio, like constantly not giving Caio any room to breathe. And that was really good. I just don't think yeah, I was really happy with that. How do I think he does against Hazamat? I don't know, maybe better than DDP, because at least he isn't off balance all the time. But who knows, man. I guess you kind of have to say I wish Caio had a little bit more, to be honest. I thought he would have a little bit more for Imavov, but Imavov just comfortably won that. 48-47, I believe. But yeah, I don't know. Good fight for him. I wish Caio went to the body with punches a little bit more, and then used it to set up shots to the top. But it's just really hard, because Imavov is just really good, man. He is just really good. He's really tricky to beat. Long reach, long frame. He looked strong there as well in the clinch. Like, it's just really hard to beat him. I do want to say Caio was very upright in this fight. I wonder if it would have been better for him to be more of a boxing stance, so he could have slipped those shots a bit more, because Imavov wasn't really kicking his legs. So I wonder if him being a boxing stance would have been better. It also probably would have helped with his takedowns, because he could be a bit more explosive. But yeah, maybe that's really all I could see, because they were in opposite stances the whole time. So you would think that the leg kicks wouldn't be a big problem. Yeah, that's what I thought about that fight. Do Caio Borralho versus I don't know. I hate that they made the RDR versus fucking Anthony Hernandez fight. There was so many more better options they could have done with that. But what can you do? I don't know who you make him fight next. Give him like a Brendan Allen or something. Anyway, like I said, overall fantastic card. Good for Nassourdine Imavov. I think we went 5-7 there, which is not great, but there's a few quite big upsets on the card, so what can you do? Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.